Okay, so this part of the gearbox is now nicely done. They're turning very nicely. You can just see the gear in there. That's working beautifully. So now I've got to think about this point here and mating it up with the housing here. I'm going to have to bore that out to make that fit. Screw this on. This is clearly going to be, I might have to pack it, and I might have to drill a hole through the perspex so that this is going to fit onto the or cut that back, something like that. We'll work that out. So now, very simple, I'm going to mount this in the lathe to this hole very accurately. I'm going to drill a hole right through the whole thing, which will fit the shaft. Then I'm going to bore this out to fit this, and that's got to be really, really carefully done, because once that's held nicely in place, I have to then drill the holes for the screws. But this is going to be the thing that's going to hold it nicely onto the gearbox accurately. So that's now a nice fit into there. It's lovely, and I'm going to have to withdraw it, I think, at least that much, so that I've got room then to fit the pinion. But that should all fit very nicely, we hope. Okay, so I've screwed this into place, and you can see that boss is quite proud. When I compare it with this one, I'm aware that that boss has got to go completely. I've got to put a spacer in here which makes this almost flush with the brass, maybe a millimetre flush. Proud. So I'm going to have to put a spacer in, and I think I'll just make it out of brass, round, and drop it in, make it as big as I can, wide as I can, and yeah, there we go. So I've got a nice little 3mm bush, and that goes on that way. There it is, practically perfect. Ow, that goes onto there. And then this one will go onto here. Now, some of this is going to have to be ground away. And yep, and they're meshing nicely. You can see that's going to be very nice indeed. But what's going to need to happen is most of that material there is going to have to go. Quick grind. Where are we up to? Yeah, we're nearly there. The screws are quite prominent, aren't they? And there we have it. Not only that, but I can put the motor on later. Okay, I might just take that back a little bit more so I can get at the screws, and then we'll put it together properly. Oh, that is right. Okay, so let's put this together now. You might be surprised I've ground that back so quickly and readily, but in fact that was always the plan. I just didn't tell you about it. Now what we need to do is put this onto here, drop that into there like that. Nice. This will now go onto here as we have already planned, and I'm now going to screw that together. Of course these screws will become redundant once the thing bolts on, because the bolts are going to hold everything very tightly. So I might reduce these down just to 2 when the time comes to put Humpty together into the boat. These are just locators really. So I'll just use 2 there. That's turning nicely. Now the next step is to, whoops, is to bolt the motor on with its spacer. And that goes onto there like that. What I will have to do obviously is just drop this on at the same time. That's it. That will now go into place with the 2 screws. Is that looking like it's binding? No, that's good. Into here, ensuring that that is going to line up with the flat. On the motor. And here we have a gearbox. Now this has got a slightly, oh I see, those screws are holding it away, so it's got a slight, these screws. I might have to just I might have to grind them back or something, but anyway, so that's at a bit of a funny angle, but that will in fact come up very square and very nice. And I'm pretty happy with this. I can't really try it until I put some power onto it. And I'm really keen to do this, because even though it's not lining up quite properly, because this is the first moment it starts. And there it is. There's a little bind in there, probably related to the fact that the motor isn't quite square. That's lovely, hey? Now looking very nice. Let's mount it in the cylinder. I've just roughly marked out where the slot's going to have to go to for clearance for the end of there. And this is going to be the slot that I'm going to open out into a rectangular shape, which is going to be the place where the laser is going to sense through. Okay, and these look pretty ugly, but I had to use the milling cutter in the drill. I wasn't going to show you doing that because I don't want you to try that yourself, but obviously for the other partitions I'm going to cut these slots before I glue them in. But that all now fits nicely, and we're going to be all ready to try this out soon. It's great. Bit of grease on the thread. I put some Vaseline inside the tube, as you can see, and on the O-ring. And away we go. But that actually seems a bit too tight to me. Just sped it up, and you can see it's operating very nicely though. In reality, this is going to be much smaller in the boat that I'm going to do. It's only going to be about 40 millimeters throw, which means that this speed will be fine. Pretty happy with that.